I'm Logan Webb, and you're listening to TortureCast.
Swinging. There's a high drive deep into left center field. It's on its way. Adios, Pelota!
Let's go Giants! SF Giants! Let's go Giants! SF Giants!
A grand slam for Buster Posey's good friend.
A podcast by and for fans of the San Francisco Giants. Chad King, Eric Nathanson, and Willie Dills. This is the Torture Cast.
It's Wednesday, June 11th, 2025, and this is episode 316 of the Torture Cast, podcast by and for fans of the San Francisco Giants. And I don't know why, it just popped in my head, John 3:16. I don't even know what that passage is, but I know the passage probably says something that the Giants are on a winning streak. In fact, they have not lost since we recorded. Eric and I were on the show exactly a week ago tonight when they started this winning streak. And,
that was the beginning.
That was the beginning. It was our touch. You know, we told Posey to do what he did. He did. He shook up the roster, and they haven't lost since. So you heard the voices there of Willie Dills. How you doing, man?
Good, man. Glad to be back on the show. Sorry I missed last week. I was not having a good time, but I was watching the game, and I was just thinking in my head how you guys were doing the show about the doom and the gloom, and then at some moment in the middle of the show, the Giants came back and won that game against the Padres after those the worst losses of the season, the first two games of that series, and it just made me happy. It brought a smile to my face thinking about that moment.
Yeah, and then Eric Nathanson's also here, man. We got the whole crew here. How you doing, Eric?
It was all doom and gloom up until they started making that comeback. It was ridiculous. We're complaining about how this place is hitting, get rid of LaMonte Wade, do this, do that. And they finally did it all. Like, I am truly convinced, and I don't know if you heard it last week, but I'm truly convinced Buster listens to our podcast and takes our advice into consideration. So I'm happy today because they've won 6 straight since we suggested these moves. And they might actually win by 2 runs tonight. They're up 8-6 right now.
Well, they got one more. This is crazy. 2 runs? I don't know what to do with myself.
I don't know what to do either. I mean, you know, look, they could score more here, of course, you know. And as we're talking, we're watching the Giants. They were down. They were up 3-0. Then they were suddenly down 6-3. And it was like, maybe this thing won't last. And the Giants just scored 4 in the top of the 8th. Took a 7-6 lead here in the top of the 9th. We're watching live. They just got a sacrifice fly from Wilmer Flores. Jung Hoo Lee scored from third. It's 8-6. They got runners on first and second with 1 out and a new pitcher coming in. But it is Coors Field, so we don't know what the Rockies are going to do. The reason I bring that up is it's been weird, guys. 8 straight one-run games. 8 straight one-run games. And now 6 of those, of course, straight one-run victories. And there's been a lot of research out there, and I tried to finalize things today. I don't know if you guys have heard anything different, but first of all, it's a franchise record. 8 straight games. It actually ties their 2014 record, having 8 straight one-run games. That also ties the 1919 Senators. But it's also a franchise record for 6 straight one-run victories. And that's not 6 straight, like, interspersed. That's 6 straight consecutive one-run victories, which is a really weird thing. Like, for example, the Marlins in 2023 won 12 straight one-run games, but they were, you know, separated by other valued games or whatever. This is weird, man. Oh, wow. I mean, I don't know. The Giants have won 6 in a row, and they've outscored the opposition by exactly 6 runs. It's bizarre. I've never seen anything like this.
It doesn't make a lot of sense, but I guess when you think about the way this team is constructed, this is the type of team that would be capable of something like this. We can't hit, but we can pitch real good. So we're doing just enough every single game to get that one extra run across, and that's, you know, and then it holds up. It's amazing.
Right? You'd think, you know, a 6-game winning streak, you're going to be hitting the ball pretty well. No. In the major leagues, they got the 3rd worst batting average and the fewest home runs and the 6th lowest runs scored during that stretch. What the frick?
Oh, I said this to you guys last week. They went 5-2 on a homestand, yet they were +3 run differential. Like, how do you go 5-2 on a homestand and only outscore the opponent by 3 runs? That to me was just the most mind-boggling thing. We're in a stretch right now that is historic, and it's kind of fun, because they keep winning these games. So it's made it fun. Imagine if they were 3-4 or 2-5 or well, let's see, we're up to 6-0, 6-2, 8 straight games. So imagine if they were like 4-4 or 3-5 in these one-run games, then we'd be bemoaning this fact. But they keep winning them. It's really fun. It's really tough. They remind me of some championship Giants teams that have been out there before. And I'm not saying the Giants are going to win it all, but they certainly have shown that they have some mettle.
Yeah. No, it's torture was coined by Dwayne Kuiper in 2011, and it was for all the tight one-run games. And here we are, not only having 8 in a row, and I guess it's no surprise after having 8 in a row that they have the most one-run games in all of Major League Baseball at 29. So more than 29 other teams. They're 17-12 in those 29 games, so not a bad record. Obviously, they were below 500 before this streak.
That's really good.
So that's great. But again, that's 44% of their games, guys. 44% are one-run games. Torture Cast, that's why, Willie, you guys named it. It was after, Giants baseball. It's torture, and we're reliving it right now. But that said, they're doing great.
I remember it being 2010 down the stretch.
Oh, I'm sorry. No, it's 2010 down the stretch. 100%.
Back.
It was,
when we were coming back.
Yeah,
we started the podcast
2011.
It was when we were behind the Padres by like 8 games or something with not that much left, and we just kept eking out wins. And Brian Wilson was the closer, so that had a lot to do with it. He was, the classic closer who always gets a couple guys on. Rest in peace. Wow.
Well, because Brian Wilson died.
Well,
right? The other Brian Wilson died.
The other Brian Wilson died today, yes.
He is definitely lying in bed, at this point. Sorry.
It was the perfect name.
Right.
It was way too easy.
It was the perfect name at the perfect time, and ever since then, we can't escape it. It is our brand.
We might have another insurance run here, and we do.
We do.
Casey Schmidt.
Wow, I'm ahead of you.
With a 2-out hit. You ahead of us or ahead of me? Yeah.
My favorite kind. Kind.
Yes. Eric's handle, 2-out hits. He loves those. So anyway, it's 9-6 Giants.
The key to life, man. That's what keeps you sustained in the postseason, but that's not what we're talking about. Sorry.
I'm okay not extending the one-run game streak. I'm fine.
For real.
Let's
end this right now.
Let's just end this. Let's
score 10 or 11 runs. Like, I'm tired of these one-run games. Like, seriously, I missed. Like, they haven't had a blowout game since Wilmer hit 3 homers against the Athletics. Every other game has been like within 2 runs. It's so frustrating to watch every night and have to pace back and forth. Like, oh my God, are they going to hold it? Are they going to do this? Like, shit, man. Just give me a game where you win by 5 or 6 runs and I don't have to worry about it. Or even a game where you lose by 5 and 6 runs. Like, just let me just chill for a night. I'm so tired of the tension.
So I brought up the
I'm
fact
loving it. I love the tension.
43%, I think I said 44, but 44% of their games
are
one-run games, right? That's a lot. Here's the other crazy thing is that the Giants are great at home. They're 22-11, but those 22 wins, 8 of them are by walk-off, which leads the major leagues. But again, that's 36%. That's more than 1 out of 3 games they've won at home via the walk-off. Not only is that exciting for fans, but again, it tells you that they're always in freaking tight games. So, my Lord, this team is it's fun and nauseating all at the same time.
It's a little intense, but I've been to 5 or 6 games this year, and I've seen 2 walk-offs. So I mean, the stats hold true.
Well, the odds are with you. Come on.
Exactly. If you go to enough games this year, you will. Oh my God, another one.
Double digits.
The mentioning of Casey Schmidt there is pretty important because he is about to get a long look here at third base.
And he's had a good night.
About the injuries yet, but he's been playing first base and doing the best he can. I think his bat's been a little bit struggling, But maybe there's something to that, playing out of your position, having to focus so much on, the defensive side of things. And now he's in his comfort zone a little bit more, where he can air out that arm, and we're starting to see him come around a little bit at the plate. So he would make a huge difference if he can get a little hot.
He has just drove in another run, which is something he's done over the last 3 games.
Yeah,
the Giants have double-digit runs. This is crazy.
Yeah, it is the first time he's done anything since the first 2 weeks of the season.
prior to this game, I put in the who's hot and who's not, and the who's not list is a couple of guys.
Well,
I think we can kind of erase
it was
them.
so obvious.
I know we got to take a couple of these guys.
Yes, it was so obvious though. The guy takes so many freaking fastballs. Like, swing the freaking bat, man. Like, I'm so tired of watching him just take a pitch, take a pitch, take a pitch. Like, you're letting the best pitches go by, and you're swinging at crap. Swing at the good pitches, my man. Sorry, that's my pep talk.
There you go. I thought we weren't going to get a rant, but we got a little one.
There it is.
There's a 6 wins in a row rant right there. That's as much as you can do.
I'm so fed up with Yaz. I really am. But I thought Gerard would come in and help out, but Gerard just sucks, man. The guy is swinging at the worst pitches. He's swinging at sliders that start off the plate and stay off the plate. Like, what are you swinging at, man? It's not even fooling you. It's outside and it stays outside. I'd rather see Yaz as a lefty face a lefty than Gerard do that kind of crap. It's so frustrating. But that's just
he also can't catch the ball at first base, so there's a couple problems.
Yeah.
And Dom Smith's been better.
Play earlier.
Oh my God! I mean, seriously, come on, Gerard. That guy should not be at first base. Outfield or nothing. Outfield DH or nothing.
He's got a good arm. But and like
you don't need a good arm at first.
The issue with our offense is when we are, as a fan base, thirsting for Gerard Encarnacion to get off of the disabled list, then we're struggling. You know what I mean? Like he's not the savior that we needed.
No. But we've talked about it. Maybe he'll be the fix at first base. Well, not so far.
Yeah.
So.
But we're always celebrating some rando coming off the DL because we had a superstar. I mean, honestly, Ramos is like the biggest superstar they've had in years. Lee is coming up to it too because he's popular among people. But like, there's no like superstar that we cross our fingers waiting. Chappie, and we're going to talk about it. Chappie's absence is going to be the biggest hole in this offense right now.
For sure.
But like, we haven't missed anybody over the last few years because nobody's worth missing.
No, Chappie's been hot too. His last 11 games, he was hitting 395 with 3 bombs. Obviously, he had that big walk-off homer against the Braves to close out that series. Yeah, he's been great so far. But I think Willie make a good point. Schmidt hit his first home run of the year last night in the 9th inning, which was crucial. Scoring those 4 runs, it was part of the rally. He drove in one tonight here, an insurance run. The Giants are up 10-6 going to the bottom of the 9th, so hopefully they can hold on. But I mean, taking a step back here, guys, hopefully they're on their way to winning 7 in a row, which would match their longest winning streak of the year, which they opened up the season with after the first game that they lost. Guys, the Giants are 11 games above 500. They're a half game out of first place. They got the 4th best record in the National League, the 6th best in the major leagues, and they're top of the wild card standings. And one game separates the Dodgers, the Padres, and the Giants in the NL West. So it is funny how baseball is so it can change so quickly because the number of games in a week and how we're so fickle as fans. And I think we're pretty objective, but I mean, even our emotions come out. Like last week, we were like, I don't know about this team. I don't know, Eric. They're only like 5 games above 500. They're sliding. This isn't going to do it. If they're 500 the rest of the year, they're only going to win 81, 82, 83 games. And here they are. So, in fact, Vegas, last week, they're at 44.5%. In 1 week, their odds have gone up 30% to 74. It's kind of crazy.
Oh, wow.
Well, winning 6 and then suddenly, hopefully 7. I mean, there are 4 runs tonight, so they should close this out. Winning 7 straight games. I mean, a straight week of winning puts you in a really prime position at this point. And so their odds have got to be getting better. The projections have got to be giving them better stuff. It's crazy that they might be a half game out after tonight. And the Dodgers are off tomorrow. So if the Giants beat the Rockies, they head into the Dodgers series tied.
Yeah.
If they win tonight and tomorrow, they head into the Dodgers series tied for first place. And if you had told me the Giants after 40, 60, 70 games would be tied for first place when they finally face the Dodgers, I would have laughed in your face. I really would have. And that's where they could be. It's really impressive. I'm shocked by what this team is doing. I really am. The bullpen, we talk about it every freaking podcast episode, but the bullpen has got to be given credit for keeping them in each and every one of these games. Last night was a prime example. Like, Spencer Bivens ran out of gas and gave up a bunch of runs in the bottom of the eighth. Like, had he not given up, all those runs, they could have come back sooner.
Mm-hmm.
But, like, other than that, everybody is shutting everybody down. They're keeping the opponent to one run over the last 3 or 4 innings of a game and giving the Giants a chance to come back. It's been wholly impressive and probably the key to their season at this point. But, like, they could be playing for first place on Friday night.
I didn't even think about that. Yeah, the Dodgers did beat the Padres just a little bit ago, 5-2. So they have a 2-game lead over the Padres. Momentarily 1 game over the Giants. If the Giants hold on tonight, they'll be back to that half game. And if they win tomorrow on their off day, you're right. They'd be tied.
Tied
41 and 28. Holy crap. Good point, man. Yeah, it is a little psycho to think that this is possible against the $500 million Dodgers or whatever you want to call them. So,
it's just because the Giants just don't look like a dominating team.
No.
The fact that they're pulling stuff out of their butthole at the last second, like 3 out of 5 days a week, is ridiculous. Like, are we looking at smoke and mirrors, or do we have a good team here? Seriously, Chad, what do you think? Like, are we looking at a team that's just coming on the right side of the odds, or are we looking at a team that actually has a chance in the playoffs?
Hey, it's glass full, glass half empty. I have heard people say, hey, man, 6 wins in a row by 1 run, that's luck. It's smoke and mirrors. They're getting lucky. The other part, the glass half full is like, well, no, they know how to close out games. They know how to come back. Their bullpen is good at shutting the other team down. So, that's the way I kind of look at it right now.
I'm watching this series against the Rockies, and it's kind of clear to me the Rockies are having a historically bad season. They just don't know how to win a game. It's not something that feels like it's going to happen for them, and that's what the Giants have right now. Is they feel like they're going to pull these games out, and I feel like they're going to as well. And yeah, they're stressful, but we've watched enough of them now at this point to know that the Giants do have the tools to, make a 1-run lead work. And we're watching Duvall right now with a 4-run lead. I'm even surprised. I will say this is probably my biggest problem that I'm having right now with some of the stuff that has been happening is Bomel's use of that bullpen. I thought that was Bivens' issue the other night. Was he and there we go. Bivens' issue the other night was,
Melvin's killing me with the bullpen lately, man. Like, there was no reason for Bivens to pitch a 3rd inning last night. There just wasn't.
We have plenty of guys.
If you're gonna put a guy in there for 2 or 3 or 4 innings, excuse me, you put in Jelly. You know what I mean? You put in that guy who's in the middle of the.
We have Eric
that
Miller,
kind of
we have
long.
Jelly, we have tons of options.
Like, you can balance it out. There's no reason to send Bivens out there for a 3rd inning. The guy was good for 2 innings. Take the 2 innings.
And we are just coming off of a day off, so it's not like the bullpen was used up and we needed to get a blow from Bivens. It was crazy. He threw 51 pitches, and then he ran out of gas.
Yeah,
I hate how Bobby uses the bullpen. I do. I really do. I don't think
sometimes don't like that either.
At all.
Yeah. Let's see. Update. Duvall allowed a runner. They got the double play. Then it was a slider that did not slide. Hit out to the park.
Kind of base hit.
And now a base hit. So, hey, this is why they need those insurance runs. This is Coors Field because the tying run is on deck. So, anyway.
This is all part of the plan, you guys. We gotta give up 2 more runs here. Okay.
Duvall's like, yeah, I want to win 10-9.
That's Coors Field, though. You get freaked out when the tying run is on deck. Not even the winning run. The tying run is on deck. It's ridiculous what Coors Field is.
It's true.
Yeah, the on-deck circle is scoring position at Coors Field, for sure.
Right. That's so funny. Because in San Francisco, you're just like, oh, I just got to get the guy at the plate. You know what I mean? So at Oracle, it's just, oh, I'll just strike this guy out. Or I'll just make him hit into a ground ball or a fly ball. You know? You don't have that shit at Coors. You got to worry about what's going to happen.
All right, so with these new guys here, with Dom Smith, Daniel Johnson, and we found out it was Kisner, with the N is silent, I guess. Kind of weird. Coming into the game, they were combined 7 for 44, 159. So you can't say these guys are causing the win streak. So what did happen? It was a shakeup. It was a message by Posey, like shape up or ship out. But the offense definitely didn't. I would say didn't. The offense
did not shape up. Yeah. Luckily, the bullpen did not ship out. But I'll say this: I do believe that on a major league squad, you still have to do. These guys should be motivated, right? Because they're professionals. But you still do have to make sure everybody understands that their position is not safe. And I think one of the big things that happened was just kind of an emotional shakeup happened. It was like, okay, if I'm not producing, I'm out of here. I'm going to be in Anaheim, and that's what needed to happen because LaMonte Wade, if you're comfortable throwing a 150 hitter out there every single day, then what kind of message does it send to your team? You know what I mean? So you guys need to press. These guys need to press. And by the way, I think Rodriguez is probably going to actually close this game out.
Yeah, this is insane. Duvall now with 2 outs allows 3 hits in a row. Homer, single, and now the tying run is actually coming to the plate. This is unbelievable. God damn it.
I think Dom Smith has been fine. I think he is an average player, and that is an upgrade.
He's replacing a completely below average player. That's
exactly. It's an upgrade. Yeah. That's
it's an
all
upgrade
they need. Yeah. Dom Smith is what you put in the bathtub when you want to take a bath. He plugs the hole. That's all you need from him right now. Because Bryce Eldridge is the future. And I don't think they're going to bring Bryce Eldridge up unless Dom Smith completely falls on his face. So I actually think he is a very big key to this winning streak right now because there are certain automatic outs. And yes, actually finding it over the last 3 games is a huge part of this winning streak. It's easy to criticize Yaz when he does crap wrong, but when they finally get it together, it seems like he's in the middle of stuff all the time. Mm-hmm. And trust me, I'm ready to criticize Yaz all the time, but nope, there he is. There he is all the time. So having the guys, Yaz, Fitz, the bottom of the order come through is what's keeping them alive. That's that extra run per game. Yeah. But the bullpen just, shuts it down and it gives them the chance to do that. Like last night was such a surprise. I never expected last night to happen. It was like the Cubs game,
Sure. I think we're all like making sure this game doesn't get out of hand here.
I know now it's hard to podcast because I'm really concerned about this baseball game.
I'm talking about the Cubs game where they scored like 9 runs.
Yeah, I'm with you. By the way, I will say,
last night was just like that. They have a 3-run lead, guys. Calm the F down.
We haven't gotten to Chapman and Bailey yet, but Kisner should be a reminder Christ. To everybody about how good Patrick Bailey actually can be for this team, even if he sucks at the plate. Because the next guy up is Kisner.
Oh, this is unbelievable, Duvall.
No, isn't it Lance Porter or something right now behind the plate? Who the hell is this guy?
Yeah. So when they got, we didn't even mention this. Patrick Bailey, of course, going on the IL. Yeah. Logan Porter was called up from Sacramento. He last played in the majors with the Royals in 2023. He hit 194 over 11 games with a homer, and then signed a minor league contract with the Giants in November. So. Oh, Duvall making it a little scary, but he gets the grounder for the 1-3 put out. The Giants solidify it. 7 wins in a row.
4-run lead.
10-7. Nice.
Hey, not a 1-run game.
Not a 1-run game. All right.
Yeah. One streak is broken, but not the one that matters.
Not the one that matters. Yeah, it would be.
Agreed. Totally agreed.
I wish they lost 11-10 and kept that 1-run streak going. Just kidding.
Yeah, that would have been so fun.
Who would have thought, man? Adam Kisner and Logan Porter, 2 names I've never heard of, a week or two ago are suddenly the two catchers for the San Francisco Giants, guys. This is a little weird. But hey, they got to do what they got to do. Do you know what happened with Bailey? I just know it's a neck strain.
Neck strain is all I know, but apparently it's 10-day IL, so it's not super serious, but
yeah,
we shall see. And I do have to run, guys, so I'm going to leave you with one last. Yeah, one last thought. I have to be somewhere in 30 minutes, so I gotta get out of the house.
Oh man, I gotta be cool, man. Shit, man, I gotta be
save a kitten out of a tree.
I know people need me.
Help a grandma cross the street. I get it. Whatever.
Yeah.
I don't want to be straight. What are you doing?
So I'll leave you guys with one thought, and that is, you were asking if this team is good or not, or is it smoking mirrors? This team is good. Because we're not actually even playing to our potential, and we know that. Adames will not be this bad the entire season. I guarantee you that. And Matt Chapman, when he comes back, will probably be nice and rested and healthy. And so the offense will put on a better performance than what we're seeing at the moment at some point during this season. And the fact that we can weather this absolute cluster F of an offense and still win ball games means that once it does start to work, it's going to seem easy. It is going to seem easy at some point. So there you go.
Yeah.
All right. And that
awesome,
does it for me, guys. I'll see y'all next week. I will make sure I don't have to do anything on Wednesday next week. All right.
No worries, man.
All right.
See ya.
Love you, brother.
All right. Peace, guys.
All right. That's Willie Dill signing off. Nah, he's going to go play pool or something like that. He got called in to pinch hit for someone, so that's all good. 7 in a row, man. And now they got a chance to close out with an 8 in a row in the businessman's special or whatever tomorrow. And then, like you said, man, if they win tomorrow, they go into LA tied with identical records. And look, even if they lose tomorrow, they'll just be one game back, and they'll still be fighting for first place. They could come out of the LA series. What we can say right now is, if no matter what happens tomorrow, they can leave LA in first place. That can happen. That's crazy.
That's crazy.
That is crazy. I did not think that was coming here. But, I mean, look, if the Giants can compete all summer, and I think Willie makes a good point there, that they've won 7 in a row with really subpar, below average offense, and their pitching's been carrying them all year. The only thing I do see is if the offense catches up, at some point the pitching's gonna take a step back too. So, hopefully they don't happen simultaneously. Hoping the pitching stays where it's at, and the hitting ticks up. But 7 in a row, man. Now it's their high water mark. 12 games over 500. They're 40-28. That's bitching. Okay, I'm pretty happy now.
Yeah, tonight was an example of winning games that aren't one-run games. They're up 4, they gave make it 3, but they didn't care. They just wanted to get out, and they did it the right way.
This is one of those Coors Light specials, right? Or Coors Field specials. Up 3-0, down 6-3, and then suddenly they score 7 unanswered runs in 2 innings, 4 in the 8th and 3 in the 9th.
I texted you guys. I was on my way home from somewhere, and I was listening to the game, and they were down 6-3. And I turned it down, and then I walked the dog, and I came back in. And suddenly they're up 7-6, and I'm like, "How the f did this happen?" But that's what Coors Field does. That's always what Coors Field does. Mm-hmm. And so hopefully they'll show up tomorrow, make it a sweep, get into first place, and go for it this weekend.
Yeah, no, this is bitching, man, and this is great. And who's hot? I talked about Chapman, Ramos, and these are stats coming into today's game, so it doesn't include tonight. Ramos over his last 12 games, 340 with 2 bombs and 7 ribbies. Webb pitching real well, 2 earned runs over his last 2 starts, 14 innings pitched. And then Landon Roop has been quietly, sneakily good. His last 5 starts, 28 and a third innings, a 1.27 ERA, guys. He's got his ERA down too for the year. He's secretly pitching really, really well right now. It used to be, a couple of weeks ago, it's like, oh, it's Landon Roop. That's it's worse than a coin toss, but not now. He's pitching really well. Now they were 3-2 in those 5 starts, but it's not because of him. It's because of their lack of offense. So he's been great. The whole pitching staff has been great. Really, the only one that is not really holding his own weight right now is I just had the stats up right now.
Either Birdsong or Harrison, you're going to say, because that's what's
Harrison.
left. Because Verlander's the other guy.
Yeah, Harrison's a little over 5 right now.
I totally forgot. Yeah. Harrison had no idea where it was going last night.
Yeah.
I totally forgot about Verlander. That was just what was funny about this week. Like,
I know.
Oh, yeah. Justin Verlander's on the team. Because the guy hasn't won a game. He hasn't done anything. He hasn't done anything
won a game.
Like, literally nothing, though. There's no game where I can think back to, oh, yeah, Justin dominated. You know what I mean? Like, the guy hasn't done shit.
Yeah, he hasn't won a game, but he had some really good starts. 3 or 4 quality starts out of 5 or 6. I mean, he had
like 3 or 4 innings out of 5 or 6. That's what it seems like.
Yeah. He felt like he was turning the corner, but his velocity was down, strangely. He was down to like 92, 93, which is part of the reason he went on the IL. So
strange as
I know he's expected. I know, right? I know he's expected back soon, and I welcome him back. And the only question I have is, do they immediately bump Harrison if kind of the performances don't change right now because he's the weak link out of the 5? Because they're not going to put Verlander in the pen, obviously.
Yeah, Harrison's the bump. Birdsong stays, Harrison goes.
Yeah, Birdsong's been really solid, no doubt about it. And then who's not coming in before tonight? Willie Adames did have 2 hits tonight, but coming in, he was 1 for his last 21, so now he's 3 for his last 24. It's still not good, but he had a homer last night, homer tonight. He's still hitting under 200, and before yesterday, he was hitless in his previous 6 game. He just, he has flashes. Great teammate, good cheerleader, whatever. He needs to pick it up. It's the most expensive contract in Giants history. I mean, when you see national stories talking about the biggest busts this year, and he's like in the top 3 or 4, it's just kind of like...
Are you sour yet? Do you think he's a bust? What do you think?
No, he's not a bust yet. I mean, no. I think we got to get... past the All-Star break. And again, sometimes you've seen this happen... someone gets signed. It's not like a Rendon or anything. He's been an absolute trash fire, dumpster fire down in with the Angels.
He doesn't care.
He doesn't care. That's an attitude thing, exactly. Strasburg contract blew up in their face. He retired and he's getting paid all that money. Things like that are horrific. Chris Bryant, oh my God, with the Rockies. Thank God the Giants didn't re-sign him. Remember that? We were thinking he might be a good re-sign. Nope. So
Guy's played
happy.
like 12 games since then. Yeah.
So really happy. Yeah, Chris Bryant. Those are the worst case scenarios. But there have been other guys. They'll go to another team and then they won't perform very well. Remember, Pujols went to the Angels right away, and he actually wasn't good the first couple years, and then he had a little bit of a resurgence. I'm not saying that's going to happen with Adames. I hope he doesn't have a couple of bad years. I'm just saying he's going to be with the team. What was the contract? Was it 5 years?
5 or 6, yeah.
Yeah, it's 5 or 6. I mean... I'm not going to be happy, but if he hits 220 this year with, 15 bombs, they'll be like, okay, very disappointing year. You got to pick it up next year and just see what happens. I wouldn't call it a bust yet. Bust is over the course of the contract, but it's not a good direction. It's not a good direction.
Oh, that's fair. Well, I do appreciate he stepped up in these last 2 games without Chapman. That is really kind of what you want to see from Adames. Like, I know you've sucked for the first 6. What are we in June? So April, May. Okay, I know you sucked for the first 10 weeks of the season. But now that we've lost the guy that gets on base the most, can you do something to compensate for that? And he's done it. He's done it the last 2 nights at Coors. I'm not sure he's going to keep it up, but I'm just hopeful. So, I'm not saying it's a win or a loss. It's definitely still in the let's wait and see category. But, these last few days have made me feel a little bit better. Giving him the day off Sunday and then he had an extra day off Monday. Apparently it worked for him. He was working with Burrow. He was working the hitting coaches. He was locked in and he's got home runs and back-to-back games. So, why not? Why not Adames being decent right now? So hopefully he can pick up the slack because it's tough with Chapman. Chapman's always on base.
And sometimes Coors Field is the salve that someone needs for a hitting slump, right? I mean,
it's true.
It's a hitter's paradise, and it's definitely worked for him tonight. You got Fitzgerald again before tonight, 3 for 26. Kisner 0 for 9 since getting called up, and Encarnacion, we talked about him, 1 for 14 and not really having a clue right now. So I don't know.
He's so bad.
He's just
he is
wildly
swinging
lost right
at
now.
the worst. Right, he's swinging at the worst pitches. He is swinging at sliders that start out of the zone and end out of the zone. Like, what are you swinging at, my man? You can't reach that pitch, even if it was straight, and then it breaks 6 inches to the left. So you definitely can't hit that pitch. Like, what are you doing, my man? Like, I've almost had enough of Gerard. Like, I kind of want to ship him out. Like, this is brutal. Like, I had no idea. He just seems. This isn't going to help us get press passes, but he just seems dumb. You know, he just seems.
We know that they listen to this, so you know, you don't want to piss them off.
Of course, Buster listens to it every week on the way home. So I want to make sure, Buster, you understand. I'm sorry, but Gerard just seems dumb.
I swear, if Encarnacion is sent down or DFA'd next week, I'm gonna laugh my ass off.
I got the power.
And then Yaz, of course, had a couple of big hits tonight. He had that almost grand slam and then another insurance run single in the ninth. So, but again, coming in tonight, he was 3 for 32, but he had a big hit in last night's ninth inning as well. So at least, you know, the hits are timely, I guess, question mark. But
this is what he does, though. He saves himself. He goes dead for like a week and a half, 2 weeks, and then he puts together like 2-3 good games in a row, and he saves himself. And everybody's like, oh, yeah, good. He's got value, yada, yada, yada. And he goes fucking dead again. I don't know. It's the Yastrzemski name is nice, but like I don't think we have a right fielder right now.
No, it's a little rough right now.
Between him and Gerard, I mean, seriously.
And then speaking of LaMonte Wade Jr., as he was DFA'd a little bit more than a week ago, before he cleared waivers, the Angels and the Giants worked out a trade for a player to be named later and cash considerations on Sunday. So he did. He obviously was placed on the Major League roster for the Angels. And he was interviewed earlier today, and so I have a quote from him. He says, "It feels great." Wade said, this is actually yesterday, Tuesday after joining the active roster. "I'm just happy, excited to be here. Just wanted to come and work and help out any way I can. I'm definitely in positive spirits. Anytime you get the opportunity to put on a Major League uniform, it's very special. It's not the ending that I wanted in San Fran." He said San Fran. "I wish I could have done more, but I'm embracing this new opportunity and ready to get to work." End quote. And they also referenced the fact that he completely acknowledged that he sucks. He completely acknowledged that his barrel percentage and his exit velocity is some of the lowest in the game. He knows he has stuff to work on, and he says it's connected. He thinks it's connected to his stride. I have no idea. But sometimes players just need it. They need a change of scenery. He's going to be playing right field and probably platooning out there with Jorge Soler, believe it or not. Another extra.
Wow, that's random.
Isn't that wild?
Well, he was an outfielder. Yeah, back in 2021, though, LaMonte Wade was kind of an outfielder. He was not a first baseman. Belt was still the first baseman in 2021.
Yeah.
Right? Wasn't it Brandon Belt?
Yeah. Yeah. No, he was on the 21 team. Yeah. Him and Crawford had, those career years, basically.
Right.
And which is one of the reasons they won the West.
Feed.
But anyway, look, I feel for the guy. It just sucks because I kind of like him. Late night Lamont. I liked his attitude. I liked his swing. Just it didn't work out this year, and the Giants definitely had to get rid of him. And look, they get rid of him. They shake up the roster. They've won 7 in a row since. I mean, you cannot argue with the results, no matter what the stats say. The wins are the most important thing. So, Posey's sitting there going, well, maybe it wasn't exactly how I drew it up, but we'll take it. 7 in a row, and now fighting for first.
It's been a long time since we ever recorded a podcast where the Giants didn't lose a single game between podcasts.
Isn't that crazy? No, we didn't do back-to-back days.
Right, that's what I'm saying. It's crazy.
The All-Star break.
Right.
It's like
they've actually put this together.
They have won 7 in a row in 7 days.
They made the moves, and then so they rebounded against the Padres. And then the Braves are such a shit show. Oh my God.
Oh,
but
I dipped into their Reddit, by the way. Ooh, it's bad.
It's brutal. Oh, it's so bad. Oh, it's so bad. Yeah. But the thing is the Giants did the same thing against the Braves that they did against the Rockies. They took advantage of bad late inning pitching.
Mm-hmm.
And that's something they're always going to do. It just is. They feast on bad pitches. And I mean, I think we just kind of have to accept that this is what the team is, because they have those games where they watch these fastballs go down the middle of the plate. Yes, especially or down the outside corner. They just watch them go by for strike three. And it's like, what were you looking for in that situation? But clearly, whatever they're looking for in general is working. It really is. I mean, you don't have a 7-game and a 6-game win streak in the same season by not hitting the right pitches. So, I who am I to question them at this point? Who am I to question that style? But it's just noticeable. It's amazing though that the last 7 games have all been by 1 run, and then the last tonight was by 3 runs.
It was 8 games by 1 run. And then now tonight was by 3. Yeah, it was incredible.
Well, yeah, but they didn't win the 8 games. They played the 8 games.
No.
They lost 2 of them. Yeah, that Padres series though. I mean, like, for real, had they got rid of LaMonte Wade Jr. before the Padres series, would they be 8 straight 1-run wins? I mean, that's what's crazy about it.
It's funny. There's the Spider-Man meme where they're pointing at each other, right?
Yeah.
Someone had that on the internet the other day after the 4-game series with the Padres, because the first 2 games the Padres won, and the Giants, 1 hit each of those games, should have won those games, right? We're screaming as Giants fans, and we did that night on the podcast.
Yep.
We're like,
for
they had
real.
so many opportunities they had the bases loaded with nobody out. They gave up the other game,
second inning or whatever it was.
Inning,
yeah,
right. And then the Giants pull the same crap the next 2 days, and the Padres fans are going, "Oh my God, we could have won those 2 games." So it's just one of those series where basically it evened out, right? So they're all 1-run games.
They're even the Giants and the Padres.
Could have swept easily. Could have swept.
Yep.
It was incredible. But that's that's what I love about baseball is, you play those 9 innings and it all comes down sometimes, especially when you're playing 8 consecutive 1-run games. Every single game, you could have said if one single play went a different way, the other team would have won. This isn't a 90-yard touchdown or some big play. It's like, some ground ball that didn't get through or did get through. I mean, that's what we're talking about. Or some wild pitch the Giants scored on, which happened this week. Stuff like
Wilmer
that.
Flores running it out.
Exact. Or Wilmer Flores running out the infield single. I mean, who drew up that one? That was seriously wild.
How? And that's the thing is Coors Field. Do you expect like a gapper or a ball that goes over the wall to be the difference in Coors Field? No.
Yeah.
It's Wilmer Flores beating out an infield hit. That was just effing crazy. That's when you kind of knew something's going on here. Like. The Giants are not horrible. They're just not horrible. That's the best compliment I can give them, is the Giants are not horrible.
Left field! Out of here! And this game is over!
Sorry, just had to play Matt Chapman's walk-off from earlier this week.
It's ridiculous. Like, I so didn't expect that. That was Saturday. I so didn't expect that. I'm watching the game, and then he hits it. I'm like, get out. Oh, yeah. I've been working my ass off lately, so I've been at work for like every Giants game lately, and I put it on the big screen. I like last night's game when they clinched it, I had people in front of me. I couldn't like celebrate it. It was so frustrating because it was a very good win to come back and secure. And I wanted to like pump my fist, but the majority of the people I see are Dodgers fans, and they're from like Victorville, and screw them.
Yeah,
I really didn't have a point there. Yeah, I didn't really have a point there. Just fuck the Dodgers.
Oh, I love it. All right, so we know that not really changing the subject, but I just thought this was interesting today. And you know a lot about Chicago, and you're a Bears fan, and all that, and you lived there for a while, right? And all that stuff. Wait, you lived there, right? You lived in Chicago.
Of course.
Yeah. The Pope, of course, who was just named Pope Leo, grew up a White Sox fan. Now, the media got it wrong the first day. someone thought it was a Cubs fan is that his brother clarified their mother was a Cubs fan, their father was a Cardinals fan, but he grew up a White Sox fan. And then someone dug up video of him, because he was a Cardinal or Bishop at the time, at the 2005 World Series, Game 1, I think it was the Astros and the White Sox, and they zoomed in on him, and he's wearing a White Sox jacket and a hat and all that stuff like that. Well, just this morning, outside the Vatican, he's in his papal attire and a White Sox hat.
Is that the picture?
Yeah, that's the picture. That is not AI, Eric. Right there in the show notes. That is a real picture taken this morning. He's wearing a White Sox hat with his papal attire on. I love it. I don't know why. I'm not religious, but I just love that image. It's the coolest thing. Cooler if it was a Giants hat, but I'm glad it's not a Dodgers hat.
It's fun that it's Chicago. Yeah, it's fun that it's Chicago, and it's actually more fun than not the Cubs. Being somebody from Chicago and understanding the North Side, South Side rivalry, I kind of love that he is a South Sider, because South Side is more Catholic than North Side.
I didn't know that.
South Side's very between the Polish, the German that are there. They're very Catholic, just in general. The Italians, the Irish, they're more South Side than anybody else, and so it makes sense that he would be South Side. Because I think he's South Side, not Irish. I think he's South Side, maybe South Side Irish, but it totally fits, and that's fun because I've rooted for the White Sox plenty in my life. I went to Old Comiskey. I grew up going to Old Comiskey, where the fireworks would go off after every home run, and then I went to the new Comiskey when it looked like a mall and stuff like that. And I'll bet this guy has been a White Sox fan since the 70s at least. I mean, I don't know how old this guy is, but he's got to be like in his 60s, so probably the 70s, the 60s. He's been a White Sox fan his whole life. I love that. I do. I love the Sox. I always had fun going to Sox games. I never had a problem going to Sox games. I mean, they say the clientele is a little brusque, but I never had an issue going to a Sox game.
It was funny. I was never a White Sox fan, per se. Neither Chicago team. You know how I think every baseball fan, they grow up with a team that they root for. They have one or more teams they absolutely hate. They might have a couple of side teams they're like, I'll pull for them once in a while. And then they just have a lot of agnostic teams, right? White Sox kind of fell into that agnostic kind of category. I didn't care much, but I don't know why. Ever since they went to, they've had these uniforms for 30 to 40 years now. The classic road jersey with the gray, the black script with the white outline, and then the
Chicago script, yes.
Yeah. I really dug those uniforms. I still do. And when I was in college in the 90s, of course I have 2 or 3 Giants jerseys, but I loved Carlton Fisk. And I caught a full-fledged, customized 72. I think I put King on the back actually, but 72 in honor of Carlton Fisk road Chicago script jersey. And then I got a Sox hat. And it's kind of like, you see like people in the music industry and rappers kind of wearing whatever cool baseball attire. And I was in college, so that's kind of the fit. It was the black and white, and it was kind of cool looking and all that. But I still have the jersey hanging up in my closet right now, the old Fisk Chicago jersey. So I think they got some good threads. But I have 2 questions. Number 1, do you think him donning the White Sox hat in the papal gear sends them on a winning streak? And number 2, how long is it until a series of fans or a group of fans show up in this look?
Well, all right. Number 3, I think you were delusional with the White Sox back in the day because they're never good. I I think the Papal gear is fun, and I actually think that people will show up in the stands in Papal gear. Like you can see a group of 5 or 6 guys, probably white guys, putting on the Papal gear and the White Sox cap and the chain, and doing, because I'm staring at it right now, and doing the thing and stuff like that. It's fun. The White Sox were fun. They were always fun to me. They really were. Like, I was scared of fireworks when I was a kid, so we would even leave early when we would go to games, and then it was fireworks night. Yeah, for real. My dad hated me for it. He joked about it, but you can tell when I get older now that I thought about it. My dad hated me for that. Sure. I hated the loud noises. But, that was our introduction to Comiskey. And old Comiskey, you were right on top of the action. It was fucking awesome. I loved it. But then I was a teenager when the Sox were good again in the early 90s. I watched Frank Thomas and stuff like that. And then the 2005 team was unbelievable. Aaron Rowand in center field. You remember Aaron Rowand?
Oh, of course.
Then unbelievable pitching staff with Mark Burley, Freddie Garcia, John Garland, John Danks. It was unbelievable what they did against the Angels and then against the Astros that year. It was so much fun to watch. So it's really kind of fun to see a Pope. And I'm not a religious person at all. That's where we're going to leave it. I'm not a religious person at all.
Right.
I abhor religion. But to see the Pope in a Sox hat, that's fun. That's so much fun. I love that. That's so cool. You see the smile on his face. You see he's enjoying himself. I totally hope he makes it to the South Side either this season or next season and throws out the first pitch or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's so cool. The guy, literally loves his White Sox. How cool is it that there's a Pope that loves baseball? That's so much fun. That is so much fun. So I'm with you on this one. The kitschiness of this, the fun of this, I'm totally with you on this one. The Sox hat fits perfectly on his head. It totally fits perfectly. This is not a guy who's wearing a baseball hat for the first time,
Yeah. And when I saw this picture, I did think it was AI, and then it made all the news. I shouldn't say made all the news. It wasn't like top headlines, but I verified it. It's like, no, he literally wore it today. Now, I don't know if there was a quote of him or whatever, but anyway, like you said, it was just fun. It's cute. It's like whatever. Well,
just fun.
We'll see what happens.
Just fun.
All right. Well, so the Giants are going to close out with Colorado tomorrow, but they've already won the series. Then they move on, like we said, 3 in L.A. and then 3 versus Cleveland. I am going on a 2-week vacation starting next week, like next Thursday or so. So I'm really hoping that we can record next Tuesday or Wednesday. I know that we'll probably schedule for Wednesday. It's just going to be an early Thursday morning, so we'll try and do it. But anyway, I promise we'll get one out. We'll talk about what will be the first place Giants next week. They probably will not have lost by then. You shut your
one-run games.
Shut your mouth. But anyway, it's always much sweeter. It's always much sweeter to bring this to you guys when they're actually winning. So no doubt about it. So anyway, thanks for listening, everyone. You can definitely follow us collectively at TortureCast, individually at ChadK21 for myself, out at 2 Out Hits with the number 2 for Eric, which they had many of tonight there in the 9th inning to put on those insurance runs. And check us out at torturecast.com and Facebook, where we post all of our stuff. So Willie had to ditch out, and Eric, unless you have anything else?
No, I'm good. Go Giants. Let's fucking take first place from the Dodgers. Why not? This is the time.
Hell yeah, man. Let's go for the sweep and let's take first place. Until next week, go Giants. Boom.
A big thank you to everybody for listening to the TortureCast, the podcast by and for fans of the San Francisco Giants. Follow us on Twitter at TortureCast. You can also like us on Facebook or check out our blog at torturecast.com. I also want to say thank you to Ashcon and Bailey for letting us use their song Feeling Like a Giant for our intro. For Ben Lee and Chad King, my name is Willie Dills saying, we'll see you next time.